Welcome everyone to the Incredicast podcast, post-race Can-Am 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway. Matt Kenseth grabs what could be his final win in the Cup Series. So how was the Phoenix Fall Race, Mr. Dr. Reliant D?
Well, saw some really high action tension at the end of the race. As we all know, this was the last race before Homestead, and so you have you have a total of five drivers trying to get into one slot. Sorry, counting or eight subtract. Yeah, and just the 24, the 11, they were all trying to steal Brad Keselowski's candy. But Paul Wolf had him have a shield, and just how they worked on that car. So congratulations to the two crew, Brad Keselowski and the two team, for advancing. But Matt Kenseth came back in the end of the race at 20 car. Jason Radcliffe made some great changes on that car during the caution periods with Hamlin and all that. Yeah, and they came back and they beat the 24. And Chase Elliott, for the seventh time, has scored P2. And that's probably, two races out of three in this playoff stage that he probably should have won and should have advanced to Homestead with,
But in that case scenario, he probably would have finished second there too. So.
True.
But yeah, it was cool to see Kenseth win, and Kenseth was Brad Keselowski's saving grace in this scenario, which we've seen before. The 2 and the 20 haven't had great chemistry between each other. Charlotte back in 2014. You hit
Backing
me
up.
under yellow.
Backing up.
But yeah, we have a interesting Final Four now. Normally, you would have like one or two people that can actually win a race, and the rest of the people are like, "What in the world? Why am I here for?" But this time, all four of them have been winning top contenders. I mean, Brad has been down on speed lately, but he's still there to be able to win a race.
Oh yeah. Can't ever count out the Penske cars.
Yeah.
Can't ever count out either of them.
So
yeah.
We're going to Homestead at Miami Speedway for the championship race. It's going to be Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., and Brad Keselowski, as we talked about. So what are your predictions for this race, starting with qualifying, that is?
Well, a trend that we've seen ever since this new chase/playoff format has started in 2014 is that someone that should have advanced to Homestead but did not advance to Homestead always gets pole at Homestead. For instance, Jeff Gordon in 2014, and Joey Logano 2015, and Kevin Harvick last year in 2016. So I'm going to predict either the 24 or the 11 is going to get pole at Homestead.
Which would be interesting if they're on if they're both on the front row. They're still salty over the past few races, and they race each other hard, cause a caution. That would just be something. Just wrap up the year.
Yeah, there you go. A very interesting fact is that there are two Fords and there are two Toyotas. This is the very first time in this new format that there are count them, 0 Chevrolets at Homestead in the contending fight for the championship. And this is huge for Chevrolet because Stewart-Haas really was their, no matter what, going to be their team in the Ford car. And now that they're with Ford, they don't have that sure guy. They have Chase Elliott, but he's a guarantee to get second. But the 48, Jimmy Johnson, he slammed the wall real hard at Phoenix, and yeah, his whole eighth title contention run was over thanks to a blown tire.
You've heard
So
of the drive for 5 is still alive? Well, welcome. Number 8 will have to wait.
that's true though.
Yeah. Um, maybe next year we'll see the um, history breaking 8th championship, which has never been done in NASCAR before. So maybe next year, but this year it's either a driver with 2 championships or a driver with their first championship, which would be Martin Truex. So moving on to predictions. What about stage 1 in Homestead? What do you think will happen there?
Stage one is going to be a lot of the same as we've seen the past few years of Homestead. Of the top 4 guys are up in the top 10, top 15 for sure, as Martin Truex Jr. In 2015 proved to not be able to run in the top 10, sadly. But yeah, these 4 cars that we have this year at Homestead, they can run up front. They all have the speed. No one in these 4 cars really doesn't deserve to be there. So stage one, I predict that we're going to see all 4 cars are going to find their place in the top 10. Could be 2014 again. We could have all 4 in the top 5. It could happen.
We're going to have like Denny Hamlin leading most of the race and then like the 4 right behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah, like this year has been like 2014/2015 combined together. It's just really weird.
Yeah.
But stage 2, I think, is just going to be like whoever wins stage 1 and the final 4, they're probably going to stay there all throughout stage 2. It's going to basically be follow the leader, don't wreck your car, just be safe. Stage points won't mean anything for these final 4 contenders, so they're not going to try to do anything stupid to get 10 points because they don't exist to these guys anymore. Which is really weird because stage points has been everything to these people, and now they mean nothing. We saw Truex, he was like a stage point kind of guy. Like, that's why he was so dominant this year, is because of those stage points. That's why he made it to Homestead. So who knows? We might see a completely different ball game because of that. But moving on to stage 3, what do you think's going to happen there?
Lots and lots of things that cannot be predicted. Last year, that one caution, the one caution of someone who I don't even recall, wrecked or had an issue, and then that just changed the whole face of the race. I see something like that happening, which is why cannot count out the 4 or the 2. It doesn't matter how dominant the 78 and the 18 have been, and just how Toyota has been all year long, because this is it, as we've seen in a few other races, like the Brickyard, where they've dominated the whole race, and then one thing happens, and then a guy like Casey Kane goes on to win the race. Something like that can happen here, and this is it. This one race chooses, so.
The winner of this race will be on the cover of our final race podcast for the first season. So this is kind of important to us a little bit, but it's only half a season. But who do you think is going to be on the cover?
Well, personal prediction is that the 4 car of Kevin Harvick is going to win his second championship in the Cup Series. Kevin Harvick is going to be the first ever Monster Energy Cup Series NASCAR chase playoff Francis Hare series champion. Um, and Ford is going to win their first championship since 2004 with Kurt Busch. So yes, that is my prediction. I'm just going off of how the 48 won last year, of how they worked all day, all night on that car. Chad Knaus, Rodney Childress is a very smart man, incredible crew chief. So I see that sort of thing happening. But at the same time, I don't see the Ford really being that slow to begin with, as we saw with the 48 last year. So
Yeah. Well, as for me, I'm going to take the favorite going into Homestead, most likely the favorite at least. The 78 Martin Truex Jr. because he's been dominant mile and a half. Sure, he wasn't that great at Homestead in the past, but new year, new car. Truex is going to take home the title and basically get a well-deserved championship, which we've had not seen in the past of these playoff races.
yeah, which Truex is probably the only person who's been in the playoffs this entire year who deserves this championship more than grandma. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. He deserves to win it the most.
Yeah.
Which it would be kind of sad on his part if he didn't win this championship because of how dominant he's been all year.
I can almost guarantee it if Truex does not win this championship. Let's say if he wrecks in stage 1, NASCAR is going to be like, you could take playoff points to Homestead, and like basically if you got a 70-point lead, you win.
Yeah, basically.
Final 4, but only one can win it.
Yeah, basically, if we have a full moon and the Earth is rotating at exactly 2.85 degrees, and it smells like hot dogs, and in turn 1 of like the third row section A4, because NASCAR, they are the kings of pulling random rules out of their rear and just turning them into something. It's
yeah.
Yes.
I think everyone knows that though, so I'm just saying, everyone, if Truex does not win, get ready for the most ridiculous point system. I mean, if you think stage racing is terrible, it's gonna get even
just
worse.
wait.
But wait, there's more. But yeah,
call now. Yeah, probably.
it's like I really want to pull for other drivers, but it's just how dominant the 78 is. And plus, we've been saying we're saving the 78 for Homestead. Wouldn't it be stupid to pick somebody else?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Which it's going to be exciting, though. It's not going to be like a 78 or 18 show, at least in my mind. It could be, but I think the 4 car is going to be there, and he's going to give them a run for their life. Just like Tony Stewart has said, Kevin Harvick's got that drive again.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't there all year, but now it's there. It's great time for that to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we're either 50% right with our picks, or the 18 or the 2 could win, and none of us are right, so.
Yeah, it could happen. Put a serious kudos and congratulations to Stuart Haas Racing for their first year, brand new manufacturer, brand new engine, the first time ever as a race team, they have their own chassis. They managed to get into the Final Four, which is not shocking, but kudos to them to making it not shocking and not surprising on just how good and consistent the Ford car has been able to run. It was really sad to see the 41 not make it out of the first round, because he actually could have done something and maybe pinched out, a guy like the 21 or the 24 even, possibly earlier on. But
yeah, his main issue was he just didn't get any stage points throughout the year. That was
Yeah.
Very valuable.
Yeah.
See, like the stage points themselves mean nothing in like the playoff format. It's only stage wins that transfers over. It's really you shouldn't confuse your fans.
It's confusing and it makes you want to cry, but it's NASCAR.
It's the sport we I think we love it. I don't know.
In the past, yes. Currently, I'm conflicted. But serious note here. This is the end of an era. This is the end of a time period in NASCAR. And no, Brian France, you can sit down. I'm not talking about stages. I'm not talking about changing the yellow to green. No, a fan favorite, a true driver, a true man, to be honest, cares about people in general. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Sadly, he's not in the Final Four. Sadly, he was not able to get a final win this year. Could happen at Homestead. Not likely, but
Not likely with the championship four is going to bring like beast engines. So
yeah, exactly. Those cars are so cheated up. Oh, you even know it.
oh yeah.
But Dale Earnhardt Jr., thank you for all you've done in the sport. Thank you for being a great character. Fantastic with the fans. Meeting you personally 2 times at your podcast at Junior Motorsports. Atatar has met you probably 8,000 times.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that he does something like that because there's not many drivers that really enjoy fan interaction. Like people like Kyle Busch, like he probably does not care for it that much. Like, if you've seen him on TV, like if he wants if somebody wants him to sign an autograph, he just kind of snatches it out of their hand, doesn't even look at it, and just gives it back. Junior's not like that. Junior wants to give the fans a sincere experience of meeting him, and he realizes it's for the fans and not for them, and that's a great attitude to have towards it. And really, for that, we're going to give Junior something. We're going to make a shirt that has Incredicast on it, and we're going to sign it. And basically, it's going to be the first time, hopefully the first time, fans have signed something for him and gave it to him. Kind of like reversing roles.
Yeah. But Dale Jr., thank you for everything that you've been in the sport. Thank you for being just a real representative of the sport in a great way. You will be sincerely missed by more fans than others. I will say, Junior Nation is loud and proud, but but 2 Daytona 500s, seven wins at Talladega is just incredible. 26 wins, great job, fantastic career, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Thank you very much for you, basically.
Yeah, like he's gave a lot to the sport. So everyone at Homestead, I really hope that he gets a good send off. Hope he at least has a solid day.
Yeah.
Like we saw like the car just have some issues, just some random issues. I hope he at least gets to like drive and stay out there for this one.
Yeah. Which Dale Jr. is going to run his first ever paint scheme that he ran in the Cup Series, the iconic red with the black stripes Budweiser car. Even though it's not sponsored by Budweiser, of course, but yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen that car out on the track, so it'll be cool to see that.
Oh yeah, and a cool thing about that, Matt Kenseth will also have his rookie car from 2003, so it's going to really look like 2003 out there. And I'm not sure if they're going to do this, but remember Tony Stewart last year, they got him to go around the track.
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to have the 88 and the 20 side by side go around.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
yeah, that would be cool. Which a fun fact: Matt Kenseth and Dale Jr. came into the sport a very same year, and they're leaving together. They came in together. They fought each other really hard in the Busch series back in the good old days. And now they're leaving together. And also, Matt Kenseth, this is his last race, according to him. And just, again, thank you, Matt Kenseth, for being a great driver in the sport. 2003 Winston Cup Series champion. Um, 39 wins.
Wow.
Just an incredible career. Two-time Daytona 500 champion. Um, Fantastic career. Great person, really. One of those guys that's a true teammate. Really cares about his fellow team members. Um, Probably the only one at Joe Gibbs Racing currently who's a real teammate.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I was literally about to say that.
but yeah, Mr. Kenseth, thank you very much for your fantastic career and for sharing that with your fans and the fans of NASCAR. You will be missed.
Well, we picked a great time to start our podcast, though. Like, our first year, we get to send off two great legends of the sport. Like,
Yeah,
our final podcast of the year is just going to be, which is not Homestead. It's going to be 2 weeks after that. But it's going to be really cool to mention everything that we've done. So
yeah,
it's going to be really awesome.
oh yeah. But I believe is it.
Yep. Look out for the 4 and the 78, possibly the 18 or the 2. But one of those 4 will win the championship, and they'll be the first ones to take home the Monster Cup, I believe that's what they call it. I don't really know.
Oh, stop. Just stop it. Just stop it. No. Stop this.
Anyways, thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this podcast, give us a like. Lets us know that you like this type of format, and we can continue to do it. Anyways, we'll see you next week for the Homestead podcast. Have a good week, everyone.